Maurice. Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So, you guessed it, I'm doing another hashtag. This one was started by my bestie, Cortney, over at Aries Witchcraft. And the hashtag is called hashtag Beauty and the Beast Tarot. Now, admittedly, some of the decks that I chose are not tarot, they're oracle. So it is a series of 9 questions, and this is another one of her fairy tale tarot hashtags that she created. The last one she created was Alice in the Wonderland, and this one she is doing Beauty and the Beast. And I will be putting a link down to her original video on this. So let's just get started. So the first prompt is, show me your Belle deck. This deck is beautiful outside and in. This is the very first one that I thought of. This one, oh my goodness. I mean, look at that image. Doesn't that say it all? Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Look at those images. This is so beautiful. And I love the stories that are in the book behind this. This was by Linnea Weatherstone and illustrated by Marla Allwood. This is just so fantasy, you know? Just beautiful. Oh my goodness, look at that. So yes, that's what I chose. And look at that white magical stag. Beautiful. All the green. You know green is my favorite color, and there is just so much green in this deck. Especially in the boons, but also in the spells. And oh, wow, look at that. Sorry, that would be Oliver. So yes, for prompt 1, my Belle deck would be Forest of Enchantments. Now the second prompt is, show me your tarot library. Let's see those decks on their shelves. So I will insert a video that I took a couple of minutes ago with all of my tarot on my shelves. Right here. So the second question in this prompt is, show me your tarot, your tarot and oracle, all your decks on the shelves. So here we go. This is not all of them, but almost all of them. And I have some over here. Oh, I've got that one down there too. And I got a basket with some that are in bags. Okay, so the next one is, more than this provincial life. Show me a deck that inspires a dream life you would like, fantasy or realistic. So for that, I chose uncover your past life oracle, because honestly, there are so many different times in history that I want to go back and visit. And this particular deck is for past life stuff. So we have pre-Columbian Americas here. Another time frame, we have World War Age. We have Viking Age. We have Late Bronze Age. We have Late Modern Age. And some of the locations are like Lost Civilization, Middle East, Baltics or Central Europe, Western Europe. I mean, this deck takes you, along with the book, all over the entire earth. It takes you to different time periods, all the way back to Atlantean and pre-antediluvian. Just, it's friggin' awesome. So, but one thing that I want to add to that is that the reason I also did this is because I would like a time machine so that I can go and visit all those times. But the only place that I really want to live is in this life and in this time right now. But I would like to visit and say that I have seen, like for instance, when the pyramids were built, how they were built in it, you know, right when they were built, the glory of them, and then the tombs, when they were making the tombs. And I would like to visit Middle Earth, you know, like Inner Earth societies and stuff like Shangri-La and the Hanging Gardens, the Babylonian Hanging Gardens. I would have liked to have seen the Tower of Babel and that kind of stuff. Those kind of places, you know. I would have liked to have gone and gotten a reading from Pythia, you know, at the Oracle of Delphi in its prime, and visited ancient Rome and all those places, but only to visit. Only because I'm sure a lot of those times were not like Peachy Keenan is romanticized as they really seem. But to still kind of just, even if I don't really truly interact and just stay in my own little time bubble, I'd still like to go and check it out. So this is the deck that can take me back through the different ages and time periods, and at the same time help you uncover some of those that you might have actually been in a previous life. So that's Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle by Mandy Peterson. So prompt number 4 is show me your Gestaun deck. This deck is one that everyone around you flocked to, but you didn't really want it, or a deck you gave away, and why. Okay, so I haven't given it away, and I really did. I thought I wanted it, and it was the Wild Unknown Tarot. This deck, although I find it really super cool, but I got this in the beginning, if I can get it out. I got it in the beginning, oh gosh, a few years ago at Christmas. It was part of my Christmas gift. And I also got the spirit animal, or the animal spirit one, also by Kim Cran's Wild Unknown. First of all, I'm not usually a black and white person, right? I like color. And this one is pretty cool, and you can color it in. Also, I've seen other people that have colored some of theirs in, and I like that idea. But I'm also not much of a colorer because my hand gets really tired, you know? I mean, when I write, it gets really, I have like carpal tunnel. So even when I'm writing down my dreams in the morning, it is a strain depending on how long of a dream or how detailed I remember things. I have to stop like several times in between in order to finish it all. This deck, It really just doesn't do much for me, to be honest with you. Excuse me. And I think that's also kind of what started me on not really connecting with decks too much with animals. So, yeah. Not really my thing too much. I'm honestly not sure why I'm still holding on to it, other than the fact, maybe I think, because I mean, I do like the artwork to a degree, and it would be kind of cool to color it in, but I'm also thinking, what, because I don't hardly have any animal decks. I mean, I could also state some other decks that I really just didn't buy when everyone else was getting them, like the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, because, oh my gosh, the artwork is amazing. But the thought of using a tarot with animals, just there's something about it that I guess it's too hard for me to separate. And I hope one day, maybe, that I'll be able to connect a little bit better with an animal deck, or maybe I just got to find the right one, or when I do, then this will be more relevant for me. So maybe that's why I'm hanging on to it. Or the fact that I have all the other decks except for the new alchemy one, which I do want to get. And then I would have all of her decks. So I don't know, but it is what it is. That is my Gestaun, or yeah, Gestaun deck. So 5, the 5th question or prompt is, show me your beast deck. This deck you didn't like at first, but you ended up falling in love with its charm. So for my beast deck, it's the Antique Anatomy Tarot. I have hem and hawed over getting this deck forever. And I just recently got it. It is something that I never thought that I would be really attracted to. But the more and more I have seen it on other people's videos and the way that they use it over, a couple of years now, a few years, it's kind of wore on me. It's kind of wore me down a little bit. So I'm like broadening. My tastes are changing little by little. And this was one that finally I said, okay. And there's a couple other ones that I could think of that I'm thinking about getting also, like the Housewives Tarot and the Zombie Tarot. Those are both like, okay, quite possibly. I think the Zombie Tarot is the one with the Housewives. Maybe that's one I'm getting confused. Or it looks like the 50s, but zombie. That looks kind of neat. So, and there is another deck. And I can't remember the name of it. It's upstairs. I just got it on a Hay House sale. I think it was like $8 or $10. And I never thought I would get it. But the more and more I was thinking about it, and I've seen Candy loves it so much, from Candy Soul and Soil, my apology. And I recently also seen Don Michelle talking about it, and it's the other Chris Ann deck. Is it like Fantastic Beast or something like that? And so I got it. So I'm not saying I'm gonna love it. I don't know, but the more I thought about it, listen, I've always been kind of into like werewolves and mermaids and stuff like that. And although that's not with like animal heads and human bodies, but it is kind of like that, because even when I think about some of the books that I've listened to that are Dolores Cannon, they talk about some of these beasts that were created during the Atlantean times when they would do DNA experimentation on animals and humans, and it created these particular beasts. And yeah, werewolves and mermaids and the Nagas that are in, what is it, India. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll give it a try, and at the very least, maybe it's just a fun deck. So yeah, that as well. I don't have it here with me. Okay, so the next prompt is show me your castle deck. It says this deck took this deck took a while to connect with, but when you did, it became familiar and supportive like home. So not quite exactly like that. This is one that I knew about it, but I just didn't do it. And she had done a couple of different runs of this particular deck, and I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't jump on it, or I was being lazy, or who knows. But I didn't. Well, this last time I finally did, and it's one of those like knock me upside of the head, what the hell was I thinking kind of thing. Why didn't I do this before? Because as soon as I started working with this deck, the Tree Whisper Oracle, The Sacred Garden by Maggie, you know, Mag's Black. Walk slowly, listen softly. Wow, I could not believe, I mean, instantly I could feel the vibration of this deck, and I started getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just holding it. Every time I use this, I get goosebumps in my body. It is the weirdest damn thing. I feel like these are like our ancestors, and they're very much alive, and they're speaking to us. We just got to listen. And I feel like with this deck, I'm able to listen better. She always inspired me, Mags, that is, when she would do her videos, when she was walking through the forest and just talking about whatever. It all just, I mean, I always listened in depth, but sometimes it would actually make me fall asleep because it was so serene. And that's not that the information that she was talking about was boring. It's just, it was so comforting. It felt like home, right? She made me feel so comfortable that I could just, you know, just relax so much. And this deck was like, as soon as I got it, it just felt like home. And maybe that's also because growing up here in Michigan, there's trees everywhere. I mean, one of the things that I love about Michigan is it's so green. When I've gone to other states like Arizona or even parts of Texas, lower Texas, it's just like dirt, you know, and sand. And gosh, man, if I had to choose between even the ocean and the forest, or the beach and the forest, it's always hands down, no competition. It's the forest for me. It's the trees, and it's the greenery, and it's the life that lives in there. It's the, you know, that's where the fae are. That's how I like feel like they are. And they're also living down in the roots. And yeah, it's this deck. I think she's going to be also doing another printing. So if you have not gotten this deck, I think she's going to be trying to do another printing when she can of the original one. If you don't have it, my goodness, and you love this kind of stuff, don't sit on it, please. Jump on it, because these trees have stories to tell. And I did a couple of different shades of the green just to make it like lush, because I love the different shades of green in nature. So yeah, this one I cannot stress enough how powerful this deck is. Yes. Okay, so Number 7, show me your chip deck. This deck is childish or has an innocence to it, but gives wise advice. And that was this, the Reclaim Oracle for me. And I don't think that the Oracle itself was ever childish, but it does help with child wounds. And the artwork to me looked like something, I mean, no offense, but it looked like something that somebody that was young, you know, like a child that was working through things, you know, in class when they would say to the little kids, let's do some pictures. And I'm not saying mine would be any better. Mine would probably be worse than this by far, but it just feels like child art, like something that a child would do. But this is anything but a deck for a child. This is a deck for helping heal that inner child. And it's just really good. Who was it that I just seen? Avery Fawcett. Yesterday or today. She got her Reclaim journal. I was looking at that. I'm possibly thinking about getting the journal if there's any left. Because this is important work right here. And I always used to think, well, I don't have a whole lot of childhood traumas that I need to go through. And I don't think I have like a massive amount, but I think there's always stuff that we hold on to that we don't realize until we really start doing shadow stuff. And then it comes blaring out. So this deck, the Reclaim Oracle, would be my choice for chip. So moving on to 8. Show me your Maurice deck. This deck is fatherly and helps you reinvent thoughts or perspectives. Okay, so just stick with me here, please. Now, Aleister Crowley does not feel like a father figure to me, okay? However, this deck definitely has opened up my perspective on the tarot system itself. So for that reason, I would feel like this is a tarot deck that not really fatherly, but helps me see things maybe through a different perspective. But another deck that I thought of for this role as well is the Sacred Creators Oracle. Now, although this feels still very feminine in its colors to me, and I can like hear Chris Ann through this deck, however, this also is a deck that it's short and sweet. Many times I feel like the difference, and this is like a loose stereotype, but I feel like men are, most generally, not always, they are more direct and just straight to the point. Short sentences, they just get on with it. Where women are wordy and more expressive and more complicated sometimes, I think. And this deck is, just wait. This deck is more short and sweet and profound in its simplicity. Then, it just feels like sometimes you don't have to say a whole bunch of words in order to get a very important message or help somebody to change their perspective. And this deck does that. Bravely market your magic. So I would say that this deck doesn't feel just feminine to me. It feels like a healthy balance of feminine and masculine for that reason. This feels like, and I said this before, that Chris-Anne feels like a very balanced individual to me. And this deck feels very balanced. It feels like when I'm using this, it helps me become more balanced in my thought between, or more balanced in myself between my thoughts and my heart. You know, my creative and my creative spark, as well as my intuition. What are you doing, Oliver? So those were my two for Maurice. The Sacred Creators Oracle and Thoth. And then the last one that we have here is Show Me Your Happy Ever After deck. So this deck is love themed or romantic, or show your favorite lover's card in a deck. Okay, so Revival Art. This one is super romantic to me. When I think of love and romance, I think of a lot of, and even the movies do it, and the shows. If you've ever noticed, the part that's really exciting is like the unrequited love. It's like that young love. It's like the getting to know each other in the beginning. And this feels like that time period to me, when things were simpler, and you know, the clothing that people wore, and the balls, and that sounded the balls. I mean, like dancing, like big parties that they would have. Don't mind me. But the fabric was so lush. And I'm not saying the times were always just so beautiful then. It's like Gone with the Wind. And I know there was a whole bunch of crap that happened during that lifetime, but there were some parts that was just so romantic. The feeling of being swept off your feet kind of thing. I think of like a lot of this, like this. And this is the, yeah, Revival Art. Oops. Just beautiful. Oops, why do I want to keep doing that? Yes, like look at that. Gosh. Yeah. So that was my Beauty and the Beast Tarot video for this hashtag, started by or created by Cortney of Aries Witchcraft. Like I said, I will be putting a link to her channel down below, and I am sending you love always. Thank you so much.